nature or attributes of God. This is a long one, so please write short, please write quickly. Any questions or problems, do ask. Top first box then. We start with this idea of God as eternal. This is the attribute of eternal. This is what you could get asked in your exam. So the question would ask you about the word eternal, and there's two views on eternal. Eternal as timeless and eternal as everlasting. And so eternal as timeless. God exists outside of time with no beginning and no end. The biblical passages that hint also at God's eternity, who inhabits eternity, whose name is holy. So it is biblically sourced. This is found in Isaiah. So what you have to remember with eternal as timeless is, where is God? Omniscience is, what does God see? So there's a very subtle difference between the two. So eternal is, where actually is God? And God is outside of time. Nicholas Walter Storff points out that a timeless God is not just from the influence of classical philosophy. When you did one of your key knowledge test questions ages ago, it said, where is this influence of eternal come from? And most of you put the Bible. No. Classical philosophy like Plato's world of forms, form of the good, also are eternal. But it's not just that. So Walter Storff is arguing that it's not just the influence of classical philosophy, it's also because God had to be different from our human experience. God had to be separate from us. We as humans live a linear existence. We as humans live an existence that has past, present and future, whereas God does not. And then we have one of the first brilliant one-liners from Walter Storff, the gnawing of time bites all. Brilliant one-liner. Basically, we are gnawed away by time. Time slowly chips away at us. In an introduction, if you get a question on eternal, you need to establish the two views. Eternal as timeless from Boethius, eternal as everlasting from Swinburne. This first side does eternal, then we'll do omnipotence, we then do omniscience. So on that note, let's bring in Boethius. Boethius goes in the box underneath. In Book 5 of the Consolation of Philosophy, Book 5 meaning Chapter 5 of the Consolation of Philosophy, why is his book called that? He's being consoled, comforted by philosophy. Philosophy is lady philosophy, so he's being consoled in his jail cell because he's about to be executed. And so what does he do in his jail cell? He talks to his imaginary friend, Lady Philosophy. And what he talks about and thinks about is this idea that God does not experience past, present or future, but all time is present to God at the same time. So it's like time is all together. It's not that's past, that's present, that's future. All time is together. God does not exist in time, and eternity for Boethius is the whole, simultaneous and perfect possession of unending life. I really recommend you learn some quotes. Why? Because the quotes actually help you with your wording. So for Boethius, eternity, time, existence for God is the whole. Think of it like a circle as being a whole, simultaneous is at the same time, and perfect possession. So God has perfect possession of unending life, no beginning and no end, and this is the whole time seen all together at the same time. All time is present to God simultaneously. In the bit in the apostrophes is because that's a quote. Like watching a film and seeing the opening titles and credits in one glance. So like on a DVD, you can see the whole of the DVD and you can pick which scene you want. That's just like that. You see the beginning and the end all in one glance on the screen. Obviously, that's an example that I've given to help you back it up. Clearly not Boethius, he didn't have films. Always explain your examples, give plenty of examples to help you with this one. You have to treat your examiner as if they do not know anything. Often what students do in this question, this exam, is they put loads and loads of words in one sentence and it just doesn't work. Make sure that you separate the different words, you explain each part of it, and then of course you evaluate it. The 2 boxes underneath where we're going is for the 2 supporters of Boethius. We keep the oldies together.